Greenland covers 2.2 million square kilometers. That's larger than Mexico, Iran, and Libya combined. Yet most people couldn't find it on a map. But by the end of this video, you'll understand why the United States views this ice-covered island as one of the most strategically important territories on Earth. I'll show you 5 critical reasons why America wants Greenland, 3 natural resources worth trillions of dollars, and the shocking military advantage that could reshape global power. Stay until the end, because reason number 5 will change how you see the Arctic forever. Reason number 1. Geographic dominance. Greenland sits at the intersection of 3 continents: North America, Europe, and Asia. This positioning grants unprecedented strategic control over Arctic territories. The numbers are staggering. Greenland guards what is known as the GIUK Gap. That's Greenland, Iceland, United Kingdom Gap. 80% of all trans-Arctic shipping must pass within 200 nautical miles of Greenland. The island provides surveillance coverage over 4.2 million square kilometers of Arctic Ocean. The United States has retained bases in Greenland since World War II, and the Patuxent Space Base supports missile warning, missile defense, and space surveillance operations for the US and NATO. From Greenland, the United States can monitor Russian submarine movements, track Chinese Arctic activities, and control access to emerging shipping lanes that could revolutionize global trade. But geographic position is just the beginning. The next reason involves resources worth more than most countries' entire GDP. Because beneath Greenland's ice lies something that makes oil look like spare change. The next 3 resources are worth $2.8 trillion, and China is already trying to control them. Reason number 2. Rare earth dominance. The first critical resource: rare earth elements. The island contains 18% of the global reserves for neodymium, praseodymium, dysprosium, and terbium. The numbers are staggering. Estimates suggest that Greenland could possess 42 million tons of rare earth oxides. If this potential is realized, Greenland would have the second largest reserves of rare earth elements, surpassing Vietnam, Brazil, and Russia. The market for these minerals reached $320 billion in 2022, with demand for some elements tripling since 2017. Scientists reported that the island could meet a quarter of the global demand for rare earths. Every smartphone, electric vehicle, wind turbine, and military guidance system depends on these elements. Currently, China controls 60% of global rare earth production. Greenland could break that monopoly. The second resource is even more critical for national security. It powers nuclear submarines, creates medical isotopes, and could fuel the next generation of clean energy. The second critical resource: uranium. Greenland offers tremendous opportunities for investment in mining exploration and development projects, including significant uranium deposits. Greenland's uranium reserves are estimated at 228,000 tons. Current global uranium demand is 65,000 tons annually. Greenland could supply America's nuclear needs for 15 years or more. The Arctic island has a wealth of rare earth resources that the US has labeled as essential to national defense. This uranium has critical military applications: nuclear submarine fuel independence, advanced weapons systems, medical isotope production, and next-generation reactor technology. But the third resource might be the most valuable of all. It's essential for every battery in every device you own, and the global supply is controlled by unstable regions. The third critical resource: lithium and battery metals. The world's largest island holds substantial reserves of essential minerals, including lithium, niobium, hafnium, and zirconium, key components for batteries. The economic revolution is massive. The global lithium market value reached $6.1 billion in 2023. It's projected to reach $18.8 billion by 2028. Greenland's lithium reserves are estimated at 2.2 million tons. Greenland's mineral and energy resources, including iron ore, lead, zinc, diamonds, gold, rare earth elements, uranium, and oil, are becoming more accessible. Every electric vehicle needs 8 to 12 kilograms of lithium. Global EV sales are projected to reach 40 million annually by 2030. Do the math. America needs secure lithium access or faces economic dependence on hostile nations. These resources explain the economic motivation, but reason number 3 reveals the military chess game being played in the Arctic right now. Reason number 3, military supremacy. The 2024 Defense Arctic Strategy of Monitor and Respond is insufficiently resourced for competition and not viable for conflict. The current military infrastructure is impressive. Pituffik Space Base is the U.S. Defense Department's northernmost installation and its only outpost on the island. Strategically, Pituffik Space Base's geographic location is vital to international security initiatives operated by the U.S. Space Force and its mission partners. The U.S. maintained a military presence throughout the Cold War, using Greenland for early warning radar and monitoring Soviet activity. The strategic advantage is enormous: missile defense coverage of the entire North American continent, early warning systems for hypersonic weapons, space surveillance and satellite control, and Arctic submarine tracking capabilities. The competition is intensifying. Russia has built 13 new Arctic military bases since 2015. China has established research stations across the Arctic. The United States risks losing Arctic military dominance without expanded Greenland access. The fourth reason involves something most people don't realize. Climate change is creating entirely new battlefields, and Greenland sits at the center of them all. Reason number 4, climate-driven strategic shift. With melting sea ice, new commercial shipping lanes are opening across the Arctic. The transformation is dramatic. Arctic ice is declining at 13% per decade. New shipping routes reduce Asia-Europe transit time by 40%. Estimated shipping cost savings reach $600 billion annually by 2030. As the Arctic ice continues to melt due to global warming, Greenland's mineral and energy resources are becoming more accessible. Traditional choke points like the Suez Canal and Strait of Malacca lose strategic importance. Nations controlling Arctic routes gain massive economic leverage. Greenland becomes the gatekeeper of the most valuable shipping lanes in history. Climate models predict ice-free Arctic summers by 2035. The nation that secures Greenland access now controls the Arctic for the next century. But the fifth and final reason is the most shocking. It involves a threat that could make Pearl Harbor look like a minor incident. Reason number 5, space dominance. In 2023, the installation in northwest Greenland was transferred to the Space Force. Modern warfare happens in space before it reaches Earth. Satellites control everything: GPS, communications, financial systems, power grids. Greenland's position provides optimal coverage for polar satellite orbits, missile tracking systems, space debris monitoring, and anti-satellite weapon deployment. Enemy nations can cripple America without firing a single ground-based weapon. They just need to destroy the right satellites. Greenland-based space defense systems could prevent this scenario. Hypersonic weapons travel at Mach 5+ speeds. Traditional radar gives 15 minutes warning. Greenland-based systems provide 45 minutes or more advance warning. In modern warfare, that difference determines national survival. These 5 reasons explain America's strategic interest. But there's one more factor that makes Greenland acquisition urgent: What America's enemies are already doing there. Chinese activities are expanding rapidly. China offered $2.8 billion for Greenland airport projects. Mining rights have been quietly purchased through shell companies. Scientific research stations with dual-use capabilities are being established. Infrastructure investments are creating economic dependence. Russian expansion is equally concerning. Russia has built 13 new Arctic military bases since 2015. The nuclear icebreaker fleet has expanded to 7 vessels. Arctic submarine patrols have increased 300%. Territorial claims have been extended across Arctic seabed. The American response includes increased military presence. U.S. forces currently operate a military base on Greenland, and the United States and Denmark are NATO allies with a long-running bilateral defense partnership. The Arctic defense budget has increased to $7.1 billion. A new Arctic strategy emphasizes competition readiness. The current trajectory suggests major Arctic confrontation within 10 years. The nation controlling Greenland controls the outcome. So the question isn't whether America should want Greenland. The question is, what happens if America doesn't get it? If America loses Greenland access, the economic consequences are severe. Continued dependence on Chinese rare earth monopoly. Loss of $600 billion in Arctic shipping advantages. Vulnerability to critical mineral supply disruptions. Potential economic damage could reach $2 to $3 trillion over 20 years. Military vulnerabilities include reduced missile defense coverage, compromised Arctic surveillance, loss of space warfare advantages, and potential first strike vulnerabilities. The geopolitical implications are enormous. The Arctic becomes a Chinese-Russian sphere of influence. NATO's northern flank is compromised. European allies are exposed to new threats. American global hegemony is diminished. The data is clear. The stakes are enormous. But there's one final factor that makes this situation even more complex. The political situation is complex. Denmark views Greenland as integral to its sovereignty and Arctic strategy. Any sale would require constitutional changes and public approval. Economic benefits versus strategic losses create internal political tension. In 2009, Greenland gained self-rule over most of its internal affairs. The population of 56,000 increasingly desires full independence. Natural resource revenues could fund complete autonomy from Denmark. Direct purchase faces enormous diplomatic obstacles. Alternative approaches include expanded defense partnerships, mining rights agreements, infrastructure development deals, and long-term strategic partnerships. Rather than outright purchase, America likely pursues incremental strategic access through economic partnerships and expanded military cooperation agreements. America's interest in Greenland stems from 5 undeniable strategic realities. First, geographic supremacy over Arctic territories. Second, resource security worth trillions of dollars. Third, military advantages for 21st century warfare. Fourth, climate-driven shipping route control. Fifth, space warfare defensive capabilities. Understanding these strategic factors helps explain American foreign policy decisions across the Arctic region. Greenland represents the intersection of geography, resources, military strategy, and climate change. If this analysis provided new insights, please like and share this educational content. Subscribe for more fact-based geopolitical analysis. Comment with your thoughts on Arctic strategy and its global implications.